If I can just, including the deputants, and thank the consultants for their work. On this, I can say that I don't have any personal interest in terms of politics, because the boundaries for me, in terms of my seeking re-election, don't change, and the number of people that I would serve, and so on. I will say that I think in adopting a position that I did before I was the mayor, and being consistent in following it, that I represent the opinions of the vast majority of the people I believe that I represent, which is that I haven't had very many of them, I won't say none, but very few who say they want more politicians at City Hall. But the second and more important thing that lies behind my vote, which will be for the 44 with an asterisk, and I'll come back to that, is that I honestly believe that we will not get better government or better representation by increasing the number. It doesn't really matter to me what number it is. I just don't believe it's going to do that. And the problem, everybody almost without exception around this table has referred to the need for governance changes. And if you think about it for a minute, you don't do it in the order of reducing or increasing the number of councillors until you make the governance changes first. And I would advocate to you, this place is broken. I don't know how badly broken it is, but it's broken in terms of how effectively it works for the people, in terms of our failure to modernize the government on things that have little to do with politics and more to do with just how we haven't invested and made changes, but it's also broken in terms of how we function. I mean, if you look at the council meetings and the time we spend and what we spend it on and the items that come forward here that shouldn't end up in front of the entire council of 45 people, it's what makes those meetings go on for days, and nobody will really deal with it because nobody will want to give anything up. You know, you won't ever want to delegate something to the community council where properly local decisions should be made, because oh my goodness gracious, there might be a day on which I want to weigh in on that, and so on, and some of them are things that frankly have no real citywide implications. So the problem, I don't think at the moment, is the number of people who are here. The problem is how we do things here. And we're dealing with this, maybe because we have to, in reverse order. And so I am going to take the position that at the moment, and I said there was an asterisk beside my vote for 44, only that I think there's much more to be done. We basically have been told there's going to be an appeal to the OMB, and I'm optimistic we can resolve matters like splitting the beach in half, to name one that's been cited. We can resolve those. Those will get resolved. This is not going to be the final word. The number, though, I have to pick a number. I mean, between all these different options, and I pick 44 because I just think we can find better ways to ensure the public is well served by council of the existing size, while still respecting communities of interest, and that we don't need, as a matter of best serving the public interest, more councillors. I just don't think that is the answer at the end of the day. But I did say to the media, and I say to you here, very respectfully, and it's why you haven't heard me say much about this, I respect the fact that you have different communities of interest you serve, and that you are concerned about that in terms of how these boundaries do affect those communities of interest, and I respect that, and I understand that, and the vote will be what it is, and it goes forward, of course, to the City Council. But I just don't think we're going about this in the right way. We should have the courage to make big change, to reform the way we run the city, and people would applaud that, and then say, in the context of that, how many people do you need to run it, as opposed to setting some number and then working backwards. It just doesn't make sense. So I thank you for the indulgence of 25 seconds, and I think on that basis, if there are no more hands, that we can move to the questions that are in front of us.